that flux of sensation and grasp onto it and identify them with concepts and make them into things, and then add all these concepts together to make bigger things, and before we know it, we've got a whole universe created in our mind. Anyway, what we want to see things the way they really are. That's what this is really going towards. To understand things the way the world experience ourselves as the way it really is. It is appearances that are generated by the mind, and the appearances are illusion. They are not what we think they are. What's important is what they are hiding from us. And when that is known directly, it has the desired liberating effect. It's called by so many different names, but no matter what it's called by, and no matter what conceptual way of thinking that somebody or some group of people or some culture has built around it, it is the same ultimate truth. And what's wonderful about it is that it is accessible to us. I mean, it could have been that whatever it was could never be discovered by us. But it's something that can be experienced. And all that is necessary to experience it is for your mind to cease its constant constructing activities. But your mind won't do that until you've created the right conditions. I mean, you have to create the right conditions. Part of that is understanding. In the fourth noble truth, the path to succeed in this, is called the Eightfold Path, and it has 3 divisions. One of those is the division called wisdom, understanding. It's developing right view and right understanding. So that has to be accomplished. Another division is the division of virtue. We have to practice virtue. We have to work on ourselves. We have to change the way this mind is functioning on its daily basis as an important part of creating the conditions to have an awareness of ultimate truth. And the third division is meditation. We have to train the mind so that we can have the experience of the truth that we're talking about. Yes?
Not that I'm going to interrupt your
Please, I'm begging for questions.
There's a bit of a glitch in the cord that's coming from here.
Oh, the microphone is making annoying noises?
It's just kind of going on and off.
Okay. I'll try to keep that from happening. Is that better now?
That's better.
Okay, tell me if it happens again.
Okay.
But do you have a question? Or anything you'd like to discuss?
Suffering is as a result of becoming attached to a mental construct. And so we're either creating what we're constructing or we're resisting, and we have aversion to what the mind has created.
That's, I think you've described it rather well. We're either desiring something that the mind has created, or we're experiencing aversion to something that the mind has created. And so what I mean by that, I don't mean that, it's not that your mind is creating material objects, but object that you perceive, that's created by your mind. And if it's an object of desire, then your mind is creating motivations to action and feelings that accompany that. And the inevitable result of that is going to be dissatisfaction, suffering. It may be actions that cause suffering of others, but that mind-created object is never going to satisfy you, and it's never going to bring you to any sort of lasting, abiding happiness. It can't.
So then you focus on a sense of oneness as opposed to the separateness that maybe brings you back to a clearer sense of seeing.
You don't no. I mean, you could do that, and that might produce a beneficial result in the short term. You could spend your time reminding yourself and convincing yourself that there is some sort of oneness in everything, and that may or may not work for a little while. But it's just another idea, it's another concept. If you put enough energy into it, it might last a little while, but and it's also going against everything that your mind is conditioned to do. Your mind is conditioned to say, well, there's me, and I'm hurting, and there's that, and it's causing the pain. So, I mean, it's not going to last. But if you can understand the truth that the ideas you have of these things are not really the way they are. And if that can become your intuitive way of seeing things, then you have the possibility of passing beyond the illusions that are standing in front of you seeing the way things really are. When you can penetrate that illusion, then you will know that oneness. It won't be an idea that's cooked up in your mind. It will be a reality which your mind will subsequently try to assimilate and understand. One of the things that's interesting about having that experience is that it permanently changes the way your mind works. You can intellectually understand the emptiness of things, and I don't know how much time you spent perhaps thinking about this, but we can all, without too much trouble, come to that place of understanding that, well, yes, whatever might be outside of my mind, I can't never really know what it is. All I can know is the perceptions that my mind has, that my mind generates as a result of the sensations that I experience. And if you know a little bit about modern science, you know that those sensations aren't, it's not even that color and heat and cold and things like that really exist out there. They don't. They are produced, redness and blueness and warmth and cold and things like that. That's all created by your brain, or you could say your mind. So you can come to realize that, well, whatever there may be outside of my mind, it is essentially unknowable, because all I have is the perceptions that are generated by my mind in response to the sensory experiences that I have. So you can understand that emptiness, right? And it's important to understand that emptiness, and it's important to carry that beyond just an intellectual understanding to becoming an intuitive way of understanding the way everything is. If when you find yourself very unhappy in a situation, if you can clearly see that, well, somebody else would be having a different experience because they have a different mind, and it would